Welcome everyone to the Watchlist, your virtual weekly TV guide right here on the Latin Nerds Network. Ready to talk about all the shows and films, etc., released on streaming over the past week, give you our best recommendations, and of course, at the end of the show, let you know what's coming out so you too can create your very own watch list. And this is the part of the show I introduce a very lovely co-host, but that never really existed, so I'm stuck with, of course, live from Houston, Senor Jaime, aka Chewy. What it is, what it was, what it shall be.
I'm no Eric the Silva, but damn,
Yeah,
dude, come
well,
on.
that's fair. That being said, we're back after what, a couple weeks off. Back again, not a big week.
Someone's on
A little
vacation,
vacation.
cocksucker.
A lot of shows came out. We'll be talking about those as time has passed, and we're all talking about a couple of things that ended or had started its run when we were away. Of course, a couple of shows we're going to focus on this week, and it's a big week next week and next couple of weeks. So we'll break those down for you, of course, at the end of the show. If you're new to the show, we're here every Sunday. Go over everything. Join us, subscribe, hit notification bell, etc. We appreciate it. And Chewy, let's get started here, man. Let's do this. It's won't be a big show, but we do have one big show that ended its 6 episode run. That's of course HBO Max's whatever.
Oh, I thought you were about to talk about the NFL season.
NFL season, and that came and went. It is what it is. We're in the off season now.
Stupid five-two special.
The five
God
two
damn.
special, baby. Hit the Super Bowl squares. Some people have it, some people don't. This guy has it.
Oh my gosh, just Christ.
That being said, who else has it? Maybe the creators of True Detective Night Country at end this fourth season, or even new for a fifth season. And I can say I'm surprised. And when
Saw that.
you and I talked about this when it came out, I really liked that. It was really good. I
Mm-hmm.
got again only based on one episode at the time. So Chewy, I know that when I read, 'cause I saw this one late because I was still away when the show ended, but I did see some stuff where people, I guess, that the ending was considered divisive or whatever the case is, and you can't please everybody. But that being said, Chewy, your thoughts on the ending, the show, and is this? I can't think of has there been a must watch thus far? Maybe there has. You can remind me if there is. Has been this year, and and does this qualify as a must watch? So, Chewy, your thoughts on both those?
Well, the only must-watch that I care about is Warrior.
We'll
So,
get to that in a second. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
but I don't. I mean, it was good. I mean, I don't think the last. I mean, the whole season has been divisive
Well,
with audience for whatever
fair enough.
reason.
Fair enough.
But the numbers don't seem to reflect that because I think this was the highest rated show for them for quite a while, higher than any of the other seasons, I think, from the numbers.
Mhm.
And every week the audience kept increasing. So it was getting, it was generating buzz and word of mouth. You can argue whether it's good or bad, but whatever it was doing, it was working. And the fact that they, announced renewal there, I was quick, right? And as soon as it dropped, boom, like within a week, it's been
Yeah, it's
renewed
renewed.
for, and
Hmm.
with the same showrunner on top of that, right?
Correct.
So for whatever that's worth, I enjoyed the season a lot. I thought it was really good. The ending, they left a couple of open questions, not the end of the world. And this being an anthology series, every season is a little different,
Hmm.
right? We get a different flavor, a different mystery, a different investigation. But I think this, at least for me, it kind of tied in nicely with the whole True Detective theme around it that we got like from the very first season, and then been progressed and changed over the subsequent three seasons. Um, the only thing. I don't know. I mean, just the mystery itself. It just seemed, I don't know, but like it was just too easy. Maybe I don't.
I I think I'm with you. I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it yet or whatever
Yeah.
the case is, but I'll say this about the ending.
I mean, I didn't know that was what was going to happen, but once
Right.
they explained it, I'm like, really? That's it?
Yeah, I'm with you
Okay.
there. I think the ending was fine for me. Overall, I like the series a lot. It was very good. Right?
Hmm.
If it's must watch, I don't know if I put it in must watch category. Right? I'm gonna be very particular when I say that. Right? I think the show you definitely should watch. Right? Particularly if you like the
Yeah.
prior seasons. The ending is I thought wrapped up well, and I'll say this: if they would have taken off the custodial crew and omitted that whole piece, right, and left things a little more ambiguous, I thought would have been a much better ending because it left that element of okay, was this because there's always this thing about the supernatural element to the show to a certain degree, and they could have really played off that and thinking, well, was it or wasn't it? Right? And I think that would have been a cool mystery to leave us hanging on. Then it would truly figure out what happened. Right? I thought that would have hit a little bit better for me because you're right. The other one was just kind of came out of left field and was kind of convenient. Right? Not terrible. Just
For a certain point,
just a
yeah. I
little
mean,
just a
and
little
the
convenient.
whole they leave open the supernatural end because they never explained the whole tongue situation. I mean, they literally didn't explain it,
Right,
and so
and I thought
you're
this
left to
yeah, they
think
should have
that
just
that was the super animal,
correct.
supernatural part about it because they're saying they didn't do it. The cop didn't do it. No one is so how the hell did it get there?
Right, and I thought that
To
if the
tie
whole
to
mystery is
tie
like
the
that,
whole thing together.
yeah, the whole
Yes.
mystery is like that could have been cool, right? We had a confession that would have been enough to clarify part of it and left it at that. I think that would have been cool.
Mm-hmm.
But look, either way, listen, I don't think it's a bad ending at all. I enjoyed the ending. I just would have done
Look,
things differently. Right, that's
what
all.
I want to say is like I hope I never get stuck in Alaska because damn, talk about classic Western justice.
You know what? First, there's no reason to go to
police,
Alaska to.
police, police be damned.
Yeah, like God, this is good. And it's funny. The whole show takes place during the full night, whatever. It's always nighttime, right? That time period in Alaska, which,
Yeah. I mean, it's
um,
right before the Christmas season.
yeah,
It goes. You get the last sunset, and it doesn't come back until this following
right.
spring or
It's the
whatever.
spring, whatever. When the show pretty much ends. This is not an advertisement to go live in Alaska. Tell you right now. It's not. Take the cruise and do people do. That's about it. But overall, it's still very very strong show. Very strong. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a definite one you guys should watch.
Yeah,
I don't,
their performances are, obviously, and
yeah,
so
yeah. I wouldn't.
that's always a plus.
But I don't think yet we've had a must-watch show yet. Maybe I'm missing something too over the last month and a half, and it's been early in the year, so I can't recall saying, "Dude, must-watch." Not yet, anyway. Not yet. In terms of new shows, right? Like brand new releases, not season twos, season threes, or whatever, what you're gonna watch because the first one was great.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I'm
okay,
talking
yeah,
about yeah, yeah.
brand new
Like
original.
original shows, because this is an original, because it's an anthology, so it's a show on
Yeah,
its own, right?
it'll pop up.
But that being said, you mentioned earlier, and we'll touch base because we're going to rank on this until the cows come home. And that's listen, guys. Warrior is a much watched show currently on Netflix and Max for that matter. 3 seasons. If you guys have seen it already, Chewy, what should you do in that situation? We have Netflix. You've seen
Put
Warrior.
on the TV, bump up the numbers.
There you go. Bump up the numbers,
Simple as
folks.
that.
We want a
And you
season
know what?
four.
It is good enough for a rewatch anyway.
Well,
So,
that's fair. I mean, I saw it recently because my wife jumped in late, so I just recently
uh,
saw the whole thing with her to catch up when the last season came out. But I will be watching it, of course. I'm just gonna put it in the background. Put it in the background. It debuted top 10. I think it started at 7 or 8, now it's up to 6. So that's a good sign. It needs to be higher. You
don't
want
be a don't be a,
reviews.
don't be a fucking duck, dude. Just
Don't
watch
be
it,
a
dude.
duck. Exactly. Watch the show, guys. This is must watch, right? So if you haven't seen it, jump on it. If you've already seen it, help the numbers out. Put it on the background. You're working at home, put it in the background, go back to it and whatever. It's okay. We want numbers, viewerships. That's what they look at. So a reminder, Warrior right now currently on
I mean,
Netflix.
I keep checking the top 10 on Netflix, and it's in the top 10 list.
No,
But
it's been there. I think last time, like I said, it went from 8 to 7 to 6, right? The level the last 2 weeks.
okay,
So whatever, it might not reach. I mean, I don't know what that really means in terms of specific
I have
numbers,
no idea. Yeah.
but it's I think it's a worldwide top 10. I think. On
No,
I think I
it
think
shows U.S. on my list. I'm not sure if it's
I'm not sure.
worldwide.
I don't know. Man. You
Yeah.
may be right. I haven't looked at that, but either way, I'll follow numbers and hopefully we need a closure season. I'm not saying continue on to light in Costco. Just give us one more season is what I'm asking for on
Yeah.
that one. But that being said, let's stick with the shows that came out. We're gonna focus. I know you wanted to talk about one, so we'll bring this one. Other shows that came out over not this past week, but before the last 2 weeks. Last year you wanted to talk about one show. So there's some okay stuff out there. We got
No, there's some good stuff. I mean, like I said, we changed our format for this year. We're
sure.
focusing on stuff that's either must watch definitely, but still keep
Yeah,
watching.
or
Or
can spark a good conversation with shows people give a shit about, right? Which we'll get to
you
in a
know,
second. But Halo's one that you brought up. You're like, okay, we'll talk about Halo. Season 2, of course, on Paramount. Season 1, where obviously this is based on the property and Xbox. For those who are familiar with that, it's basically sci-fi action adventure, right? Keep
yeah.
it simple. I
Mhm.
wasn't. I liked the first season. It wasn't great. I think it started off cool and then it just kind of like withered down to some degree. I will say season 2 has been better. Um, And then I wasn't gonna see the last episode. I was gonna watch it today actually. It's like when you told me you want to talk about it, let me watch the last episode because that's the one I
Okay.
missed. And I gotta say that was the best episode of the series so far, of the
No
of
problem.
the,
Yeah.
of the entire series. Action packed
Hmm.
with some real stakes and real
Yeah.
consequences, which
Oh
we
yes.
haven't gotten in this show really. Multiple people
Well, I mean,
got the
we've
axe, right?
had multiple red shirts, but
Yeah, but
people we
yeah, I'm talking
don't
about
give a crap
like
about.
big
But
characters,
this
or right, we
one,
got a couple of them, maybe one and a half, but a couple of them that, oh wow, and
I mean, spoiler alert. I mean, we lost a shit ton of major characters. Well, one definitely. Well, two of them that
well,
were part of
two,
first
yeah, of
season
course. So
and major elements
yeah,
of this season, and they've gone RIP, unfortunately. But I mean, it is. But again, you got to give a show of this quality stake something that to grab on
that's what's
to,
been missing for
because
me.
you can't assume. You can't be like Star Wars where everyone survives
Right,
until
and
the
that's a
last
different kind of show.
game.
It's more that's a fantasy show, right? It's rooted in fantasy,
Yeah,
so
I
it's
know.
fine. But no, this show needed it desperately, right? And I was liking when season two was going. I thought it's been the first one, but now I was like, oh, okay, now we're at a point where okay, now it's got my true interest, and now I'm looking forward to this. Will it, can I follow this up? I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, it's a show I think people should, if you're on it, it's if you will wish watch about season two, I think you should definitely give it a shot. It's definitely better. I
I mean, well, no, I mean, season two is definitely better so far over season. I mean, I enjoyed season one. Right? I like Halo. I like the video game, like the series. Not too much into the complete lore
sure.
of comics and short films and movies that they put out in animation stories and whatnot. But just the basics from the original Xbox game, I've always enjoyed it. Right. And I think this one is definitely up the ante with the action sequences.
Yes.
And for sure, where we're getting more elaborate, more in your face, more gritty combat, right? Especially because that's what you expect from. But that's the game, right?
Right.
It's
This is a
shoot
show
'em
about
up,
humanity
FPS.
versus the Covenant, which is an alien
Yeah,
race, right? This is
yeah,
basically what it is. It's an alien invasion
yeah,
show, essentially, at its roots.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And but I think they've also done a much better job, and whether because the circumstances where the show was produced season one versus now, is we're getting a hell of a lot better and more character development, and it's focused on not only Master Chief but several characters within the show,
Hmm.
right, and giving us more of that humanity, more of wanting us to care about particular characters and the story as a whole. And so it's done a much better job in that respect. I'm not sure if they changed showrunners or anything, but they've done something that's definitely worked,
Yeah. Agreed.
right? And they've
Yeah.
altered course overall. And I think just because of the improvements, like next we had a good baseline, and now this has gone, it's gone on the right trajectory, which is what we like to see with any show, right? You see where it starts and then how it keeps develop and get better. And this is definitely take a leaps and bounds over the first season to improve on those. So yes, definitely,
Yeah.
I'm watching, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Not gonna give two shits about he doesn't have the helmet or has the helmet.
I mean, it's you get used to after a while. You can't fight every fight, right? But no, definitely, yeah, definitely.
Not everyone can be the Mandalorian.
No,
Okay, come on,
that's fair.
come on.
Unless Shredder Pascal was Master Chief, maybe that's good discussion we could have had. He's everything else. You might as well put him in Halo. But that being said, so that's the only show we're gonna talk about that came out over the last couple. There's other shows that
Yeah.
came out, but as far as time wise, we can't be here all day. But we're gonna focus on two shows with two features, right? The first one, because this was a big release. This is on Netflix, and that's The Last Airbender, Avatar, The Last Airbender. Come on, Netflix, of course. Netflix has built a nice little niche with these kind of anime properties and bring them to real life, whatever, in terms of
Mhm.
non-animated shows.
Live action,
Live
live
action. There you go.
action
That's the word I'm looking
fantasy.
for. This one here, of course, is based off the very popular cartoon. I think it's an anime, whatever you call it. Whether
Yeah, I think it qualifies as an
yeah,
as anime,
exactly.
Japanese
Yeah,
anime.
it's a
Yeah.
fantasy show. We got a kid who is in this world where these people can control elements, fire, earth, water, and air. We have one young kid who's part of the air benders. They call them benders. They can manipulate these elements, and it's pretty much his race has been liberated. He's the last one, but he also happens to be this avatar. This kind of prophecy of one individual who can control all the elements and bring balance to the world, right? It's basically what it is, right? But yeah, so Chewy, this came out. This one got a lot of mixed reviews on it. I myself am in that bag where it was okay. It is, and I'm borderline. I'm gonna keep watching. I think I'm 4 or 5 in, and I'll keep watching it. It's not a bad show per se, but it's too Disney Plus ish for me. I don't think that I'm the demographic this show is trying to reach. Right, it's more for a younger audience, which is okay. Um, Dialogue points that way. The acting's kind of towards that way, and the action's okay. But I don't know. I feel like I'm watching a cartoon, in real life, and that just didn't quite click for me. It's not a terrible show, but I'm disappointed because I was expecting bigger things from this. It's better than the movie, for whatever that's worth. I know it's a low bar with
Oh,
that, but
not saying much,
yeah,
but
exactly. True. Your thoughts on this one?
no, I think I mean yeah, I think Disney Plus is well, it gets such a negative connotation. I mean, because we have Percy Jackson, which we really
True.
liked.
Absolutely.
So
Really good show.
so now to say that it's Disney Plus is not really a
Well,
good
I'll
moniker.
say in terms of the
But it's
tone.
a yeah PG-13 tone,
Yeah,
right?
maybe lighter.
Because I mean, based on the I've never seen the animated show, but obviously it's meant for kids,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or
Sure.
people who are really fans, and so you have a certain expectation, right? Much like One Piece was the
Yeah.
animated One Piece, which is still ongoing, right? But the big difference is when we got the One Piece live action, it wasn't like the comics or the cartoon. It was adultified, I guess if that's even a word. And
Sure.
so we had action and dialogue that was mature,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know, not gory or graphic
No,
or
but I
vulgar,
think
but
it
just
was
mature.
more adult friendly, I guess would be the right term, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's
And I think this one they I'm not sure if it was by accident or this is what they intended, but they definitely not brought it to that same level, right? Now
yeah,
compare these two because basically it's the same background, take a live action
sure,
anime, and we have One Piece, which we love, right? Because
yeah.
it had good
It's a very good
story, it
show.
had great action, it had emotions behind it, right? Not kiddified. And this one is they didn't bring it to that level, and you can tell right off the bat from the a lot of the action sequence,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where and I hate keep doing this, but from now on, I compare everything to Warrior,
Well, it's
right? When it comes to martial
I
arts,
get it's
because
an unfair
that's the
compare. It's an
benchmark.
unfair compare.
Yeah,
It
it's
really is.
unfair,
Um,
but that's the
but I
benchmark
get
that
it.
that everyone should aspire to a certain level,
Sure.
right? That's the A plus, and where do you fall, right? Do you meet or do you not meet, right? At the end of the day, and so when I look at the action, it doesn't definitely meet because it's not intended to be that kind of
Sure.
show, but you can still have good action without having to be graphic about it and be adult about it, mature about it, right? So I think I'm gonna keep watching. It's
It's
okay,
okay.
right? I like the story and stuff, right? Better than the movie, but we will agree with that. And that's what people wanted because the movie was
Yeah.
garbage.
It's terrible.
And people still love, yeah, and still watch the
Mm-hmm.
animated show. But I wish they would have, yes, brought it to that more mature level,
Yeah, it's
right?
missing that.
Maybe more stakes, more
Thank you. I was about to
seriousness
say that.
about it.
Yes, a little more weight
Yes,
behind it, right?
yeah.
Unfortunate, and it's lacking that. So again, not terrible, but I mean, like I said, I can't speak to someone who's seen this show and compare like people compare with. I like this show. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Right? Compared to the movie, it's better than that. I heard fans mixed on it as well. They're saying this is darker, which I find fascinating because this is darker than the cartoon. The cartoon must be incredibly light. Uh,
Yeah, well,
and
that's
I've heard that.
yeah, I hear that
Yeah.
too.
So
But is it dark enough for me? No,
oh
it's
no, no,
not.
yeah.
I'm gonna say
Maybe they
that.
went darker, just didn't go dark enough. And it's funny because the showrunners, which
Yeah.
I didn't know, left the production in there for creative differences, which means the direction they wanted to
Oh,
go to when they weren't allowed to, which is why they left. And now we're left with what we got. So I think that's something happened with that. But that
I
being
did
said,
not know that. So
yeah,
that may explain that they wanted to go, yeah, more
maybe
adult.
perhaps
And
or something. What I could mean a
and
lot
I
of things.
think when you go like that live action, you have to go more adult. You can't make
Oh, I agree. I agree.
live action for kids. It
Yeah,
just doesn't
it
work.
doesn't work.
Not for the audience you're trying to bring in,
Right.
and because a lot of this audience has grown up, and we all grow up
Sure.
eventually, right? And we want adult themes and adult content. Like I said, not doesn't be vulgar or graphic.
No.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But
Absolutely.
it can be adult in the way you treat the audience with its dialogue and the storytelling,
Exactly.
and definitely with the action. Which when you're talking about fantasy and elements and water and fire, I mean, yes, they kind of kind of show people burning, but it's not really. It's just done in a way
Yeah,
that's like very
you don't feel
silly.
the weight on the
Yeah,
other, or the
yeah,
stakes is not there. And again,
yeah.
when Percy Jackson did a great job of balancing the maturity, and I'm still keeping it to the right demographic. Right,
Mm-hmm.
they did a good
With
job of
young
that.
actors,
Right,
yes,
and they did
yes,
a good job. That's the example that's the benchmark as far as I'm concerned. One Piece is
yeah.
another, right? Of course, but just talking about
Mm-hmm.
recent, Percy Jackson did it really well. You know, on Disney Plus, which I shit on all the time because of that. And that's something. This show, if this was shows on Disney Plus, I would get it. I say, oh, that makes sense. And my expectations would have been somewhere at that point, like, oh, okay, it's reasonable. Netflix, I expect a little bit more, but not a terrible show. But now, the last one we'll talk about is Constellation, Apple Plus. We're fans of Apple Plus. We love Apple Plus. And Masters of Air is a really good show, really good visceral show, put it that way. Which is still ongoing now. People should definitely catch that one on Apple Plus. But
Mm-hmm.
this one here, we got Naomi Pace. Did I say it right? Yeah, I think so.
Rapace.
Pace, right? Oh, whatever her name is.
R A
Oh,
R A
right.
P A
Yeah, there
C
you go. Mix
Rapace.
up her name. But yeah, she this one is a sci-fi story here. I'm not sure if it's a limited series or not. Doesn't matter. Dropping 3 episodes on Apple Plus. Now she is of course part of an astronaut team that's in the space station doing all kinds of stuff up there, and something occurs, an accident occurs. Everyone's forced to evacuate. She's left behind to tie a couple of things up and maybe try to salvage whatever she can. And during that time, she does make it back home. But during that time, she experiences these flashbacks, hallucinations, visions, whatever. It's kind of unexplained. And now we got Mike, of course, from Breaking Bad, who's
Uh-huh.
also in this and all that. He's someone else who heads part of the team of the space station. I was experiencing some of the same things. Connected, we don't know. We don't know what's going on. So it's kind of the air of mystery. What's happening? What happened to the space station? Why she has these visions? Because we see her like, I guess, seeing things in the future. I guess maybe it's kind of hard to tell,
Well, I mean,
or current
well,
times, I guess. But you know what I'm saying. Either way,
well, I mean, what's a little jarring is because they start 6 weeks ahead,
right?
I believe,
Yes,
and then they do flashbacks. So it's a little confusing when they're looking where she has these visions, whether she is in the future or in the I guess the present
the present, right?
having these visions, or if she's in the past having these hallucinations or visions or whatever it is, or it's a mixture of both. It's a little confusing from that perspective. But she's definitely seen something, and because she's not the only one, obviously.
Right. There's something
The
going
the
on.
the,
And
the
there's
astronaut
something that
character.
they brought back that she was able to salvage. Some experimentation that's going on with this. I'm not sure what it is. Something that only can live in space. That can be the
Well,
key to humanity or something.
they were trying to uncover another state of matter. Is
There
what
we
they were
go.
doing. That was the whole experiment.
Okay, and
And so,
that could be connected to what's going on. I don't know. So there's an air of mystery with the show as far as that goes. So
mm,
that's kind of the hook of the show. Great production, absolutely top notch. And so far, I like what I'm watching. I don't know if they're gonna maintain this for 8 episodes, to be honest with you, and it could get a little bit like redundant. But so far, I judge it for what we've seen. I'll keep it that way. I'm enjoying it. What made interesting enough what's going on, and I just hope the payoff, right, is there, because that's really the key. This kind of shows it's all about the payoff, and so far the table's been set properly. I'm enjoying it. I think you guys should check it out on Apple Plus. I'm not raving about it right now. Maybe by the end of the show, oh my god, that was amazing. Who knows? Potentially. Chew your thoughts on that one.
um, so the first couple of episodes were a little
It's
slow
slow,
for
no
me.
doubt. It's slow.
Um, and obviously they dropped 3 episodes, so that should have been a clue to me. It's like they were really taking their time with this.
Fair.
But I'm still enjoying it. I'm still trying to understand what is the mystery and how all this is related
Right.
to this experiment, or maybe not. Maybe that's just a red herring,
Yeah.
and there's something else going on because it definitely has a horror feel
Kind of.
to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It does.
Um, with her various flashbacks and what's going on, what she sees, what's real or what's not
Right.
real. Right? Maybe it's all real. I
Yeah.
just don't know
Yeah. She's
what's
got a daughter who's part of these visions, and maybe
Mhm.
she's also experiencing the same thing potentially.
I know. Yeah, there's one scene in the
Yeah.
last episode where the daughter seemed to experience one of these
Yeah.
visions, right? When they're in the helicopter, and you're like, "Oh wait, well, what is really going on now?" Because now she's been affected. So how this is affecting people
Right,
is
and that's
part
the
of the
yeah,
mystery.
and exactly the hook of the show, right? And it's really you're gonna like the show whether you buy into what's going on, right? But my
Mhm.
concern again with these kind of shows where it's reliant on the hook, the gimmick, you know, the expectations are there, and this is the kind of show I could see then anyway, like that was it, and be disappointed at the end of the day, which is it's just upsetting because you watch 8 episodes just for that particular reason, right? The
Mhm.
draw is not the characters, it's not the drama, it's the gimmick, the hook, right? The mystery, and something like True Detective, we talked about, having a supernatural element. It always focused on the characters, right? These characters have backstories and issues and how they tie it into what was going on. That's what kept you watching. The hook wasn't, yeah, you want to know what happened, of course, who done it, but ultimately you watch it for everything else as well. But ultimately, yeah, I recommend it. Again, Apple Plus usually does pretty well, so they have a good track record. So if you get Apple Plus, I think this one you should give it a shot, particularly if you like sci-fi stuff. So, and that was it for the week. Basically, just two shows. That Bad Batch came out, and that's not what we're talking about. I'm not even gonna get into that. I don't watch anymore. But that being said, let's focus on next week.
That's rough.
Let's focus on next week. And next week we're giving you 2 weeks of releases here, and this next week is huge. So let's get started, Chewy. First, starting with on the 27th, FX, Hulu, Disney Plus, whatever. We got Shogun, series coming out based off of very popular IP novel, whatever the case is, a miniseries done in the past, which I never saw. This was kind of a period piece, of course, of samurai and the things going on behind it with the Portuguese at the time in Japan. I already seen it, the first 2 episodes already. My review is on the channel, so I won't say anything right now. Sure, you guys watch it, check it out. I'll put a link at the end of the video so you can click on that review. We'll probably be talking about this show next week. I got a feeling it's one I think we're both pretty excited about on that one.
I am.
Yeah, exactly. So when I'm looking forward to talking to this one. And listen, there's a lot of shows. So speaking of NFL, like NFL team in preseason, cuts are gonna have to be made. I won't be watching all these, and this one here I won't be watching it because I don't think it's gonna be good because I never saw part 1, and that's Code 8. Part 2, it's a Netflix film.
I did actually saw that movie, the first one. Yeah, it wasn't bad actually.
Oh, no, I didn't see it. So I can't comment. If you watch it, we'll talk. We'll put it in a quick rundown. We'll do like a rundown normally before we get to the hot shows. Unless this was amazing, you can tell me next week if that's the case or not. But that comes out on Netflix on the 28th. Also, the 28th, we got American Conspiracy, the
documentary,
Octopus Murders. God, I can't even say it.
Yes.
What's this one about, Chewy?
So this one is a documentary on Netflix. And I guess it's about this guy who was killed, and he was infamous or famous for putting out various or trying to run down various conspiracy theories, right, and prove or disprove, I think. And so he's connected with a lot of different mysteries, and so that's why that's why it's called the Octopus Murders, because he was I guess from what I understand he was into a lot of these mysteries, trying to resolve a lot of these crimes and conspiracies and stuff, or disprove. And so somehow he ended up dead. And with the implication was that he was going down the right track on several of these, right? And so, but looks interesting. I'm gonna check it out.
Oh, good. 28th again, and then on the 28th we got it on Amazon, Spanish show, La Reina Roja, the Red Queen. This one is looks interesting. This was kind of like a detective mystery kind of thriller kind of thing.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think one of the main characters is a woman who happens to, I think, IQ over 200, one of the might be the smartest individual in the world, and they're using her to kind of piece together these mysteries, murders, or whatever, because her acumen is so up there, she can see things no one else can see. It looks interesting, so I'm kind of looking forward to that one. Again, Amazon on the 28th. On the 29th, it's a weird February year. There's a leap year. We got The Tourist season 2, which is a show originally on Max, if memory serves. And then I think, I think Netflix picked it up. This one is gonna get cut. Season 1 was okay. For me, it's not worth pushing season 2. Some people, but it's let you guys know it is coming out.
I was shocked that they were in season 2. I was like, where'd this come from?
Right, exactly. It was weird. So I don't know. It's probably one that probably won't make the cut this way. It is what it is, right? I'll put in the practice squad. Somebody gets hurt, I'll put it on. Well, something's really bad, or I just see 10 minutes, I can't watch this anymore, I'll substitute it with The Tourist, okay? But that being said, that is coming out on the 29th. And then March begins. We got Spaceman, Chewy's favorite comedian actor, of course, Adam Sandler. Listen, you hear this Adam Sandler Netflix, ugh. But to be fair, his dramatic stuff is usually better than his comedic stuff, even on Netflix. I think Hustle was the last one that came out. Uncut Gems was a theatrical release, but Hustle came out, which is a decent film. So this one here, it's like a sci-fi somewhere of these, I don't know, alone crash landed somewhere, I guess. I don't know, something like that. Looks interesting. And then on the same day, Furies on Netflix. Chewy, this is like a
Spanish show also.
Spanish show. This one where I think she's a revenge show. A woman's husband dies and she goes into trying to find out what happened kind of deal. Is that what that is?
Yeah, yes, okay. I believe so. Yeah, okay, that's correct.
Okay.
So we got 2 Spanish shows this week.
All right, so we did Netflix is kind of status quo. These kind of shows we've seen them 1,000 times. So hopefully this is more interesting. And then on Apple, speaking of Apple Plus, we got Dick Turnip is the name. What's it say? The
Yes.
complete story adventures of Dick Turpin. Man, just a long title there. This was, I guess, a comedy, right? I guess takes place in
I guess.
the Renaissance days, and it's a guy who's got his crew thieves, and they're trying to stay a step ahead of the authorities, I guess. Interesting show for Apple. If it was on Apple, I don't know if I'd be as curious about it as I am, but whatever. We'll see again that drops in the first, and then the following week we got 5 things coming out. On the third, March 3rd, I'm sorry, is The Regime. This is
On Max.
Kate Winslet's second show on. We had
Mm-hmm.
Mayor of Easttown, which is a phenomenal show, must watch show,
Mm-hmm.
on a couple 3 4 years ago on HBO. This one here, what is it? It's like a
So she's I guess I'm not sure if she is the ruler of or inherits the crown, the title, but she's a dictator, right? And so I guess she's trying to maintain power. So that's the basic basis of the show. Obviously, it's a made up country,
well,
a
of
made
course,
up
yeah, at that
region
day,
or
yeah.
whatever.
I mean, it's getting the prime time slot on Sunday nights,
Yeah,
so
Sunday night. So
doesn't
that's it.
guarantee the quality, but it's to have confidence in it
Hmm.
to put it on Sunday night. So what the hell? Then we got the program that is on Netflix on the 5th. It's a docu film, I think, or a docu series. Not sure.
Ducky. Well, I think it's a
I
film,
think it's a
but
film, but I think it's a young girl who's telling a story when I see if she was kidnapped or something. She went to some kind of traumatic experience at a place she was being held at as a teenager. Um,
it kind of reminds me kind of the other documentary show because it's called the program. But it was like remember that one where they took kids to the
yeah,
desert,
just to straighten them out, kind of.
trying to
Yeah,
rehab. Yeah,
a lot of
yeah. So I
abuse.
think
Yeah.
this is something similar to this, or similar something very similar story. I think.
Gotcha. So that comes on the 5th. On the 6th on Hulu, Extraordinary. This is actually a fun show. I think I caught this one late. Um,
Hmm.
this is not a superhero show about superheroes, kind of. Not really superheroes. It's in a world where people at certain age develop some kind of ability,
It's superpower.
superpower or ability,
Very
whatever you want to
random.
call it. Very random,
Yeah.
very off-putting, very kind of boys-like in terms of his tone at times. And it's surrounding a show of a young woman who didn't get her power, and she's already at
Mhm.
that age where she should have had it already. So she's trying to cope with what's going on. Very comedic, very raunchy. It's actually a pretty original, fun show.
Yeah.
Again on Hulu, Disney, whatever you want to call it. Again, looking forward to that one. And then two more we got
Hmm.
on the 7th. We got The Signal. This is one on Netflix. This one looks like
Hmm.
your classic, generic, kind of thriller on Netflix. We've seen it. Sometimes they do very well with these things. They do. This one, I guess. Speaking of like on what Constellation, I guess the family, the father's an astronaut, dies, and the wife's trying to figure out what happened, and unraveling some kind of mystery that poses them danger, or some of that along the lines. Whatever. We'll check it out anyway. And then last one is The Gentleman on
Yeah.
Netflix on the 7th. This one I'm very fascinated by. Guy Ritchie is a very good director.
Hmm.
I like him a lot. He's given his throwing his ring to the hat in terms of television streaming anyway. And this one here is, I think I'm not sure if it's a spinoff or a prequel sequel. I don't know.
No, it's a direct
It's
sequel
a sequel.
to.
Okay.
Well, there was a movie
Yes.
with Matthew
Yeah.
McConaughey called The Gentleman.
Which is a very
Right.
underrated film, by the way.
It's very good,
It's
actually,
very
man. I
good.
was, I
Yes.
was, yes.
Very good film. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. So that was really so. Yeah, this one here,
Hmm.
I think it's in London or
So
something.
this picks up.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, well, yeah, definitely England,
England. Yeah.
definitely London is one of the settings.
Yeah.
But this picks up. I'm not sure how much time after the ending of that
Mhm.
movie. Um, so because it's been a while since I saw the movie, so I can't remember the main characters and who was involved. Aside from Matthew McConaughey,
Yeah.
and he was trying to get out of the. He was selling his drug trade business, right, his marijuana business.
Yeah.
And so I probably have to go back and just refresh my memory with that movie. But this picks up sometime after because I think the father dies and the son is taking over, right? But I don't know in relation to whose father or who's related to who, but it definitely is a follow up to the movie.
Yeah, and like I said, this one, the way I was looking at the cast now, Charlie Hunnam was in there, McConaughey,
Mm-hmm.
Colin Farrell, Hugh
Mm-hmm.
Grant,
A lot of people are in the
yeah,
movie. Good movie,
Henry
man.
Golding. So a huge cast. It was a really underrated movie. It really was. And Guy Ritchie is a good director, so I'm very curious. It seems like the tone is in the spirit of what he does best. So I'm very excited about that one. Hopefully he can hit it out of the park. Again, The Gentleman on the 7th. So it's a lot of stuff on here. Of course, next week we'll focus on the first eight droppings of the shows that come out next week. We'll hit The Gentleman in a couple weeks. But that being said, Chewy, is always a pleasure. A lot of stuff to catch up. I'm still catching up my shows. Sunday's my catch-up day, so I'm ready to do this. That being said, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it here every Sunday. The watch list. See you guys next week.
Thanks.